Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. We are back with Leah Wiggs, our personal development coach, and we're here today to talk more about Rise Up. And of course, all she does as an amazing kingdom community, providing support and loving atmosphere to help you grow, develop a relationship with Jesus Christ. And again, her name is Leah Nicole Wiggs. Go to the Leah, that's LEAHNICOLEWIGGS.com. That's the LeahNicoleWiggs.com. And we're going to talk today about these transformative journeys that she helps you with. And of course, all the empowerment. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you, Jill. Listen, I'm glad to be back. It's such a beautiful Monday.
Beautiful.
I'm glad to be back.
And you're in Virginia somewhere. Where exactly in Virginia?
Yeah, I'm in Carrollton, Virginia, chilling with my husband and with my family and friends that are still in the area for a little while. Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, I just want to ask, how was your Thanksgiving? We haven't spoken, right?
Yeah, no, it was amazing, amazing. I had the opportunity with my family to rent out an Airbnb with my family, and it was really, really beautiful to kind of bring all of my siblings and their kids together and really have really early mornings with all the babies like rising around, 5:30, 6 in the morning, and then us staying up as adults and playing games all night. So definitely a beautiful time. How was yours?
It was fantastic. It was low key. It was quiet. I was at my aunt's, my son, my father, my two sons, I should say, my father and my niece. So, and went to my aunt and uncle's. It was so quietly calm, which we never have holidays like that. So I was grateful for that. And always just this time of year to sit down at the table, to talk to the loved ones and hear their stories, and I mean, this might sound so out of left field, but I'm just going to say it. So my uncle, who's been my uncle all these years, my dad's brother, he was abducted by a UFO. We heard the story many years ago. We thought he was crazy. But long story short, this on Netflix a few months ago, I see a preview come out and he's like in the trailer. And I'm like, I still haven't watched it yet. And then he opened up on Thanksgiving for the first time about it and how the thing on Netflix was never supposed to be aired. But long story short, they signed papers, but he was trying to help other people who were abducted in this whole New York City thing. And I heard the story and I'm just like, wow. So my Thanksgiving, I was just really blown away because that's a real blown away story, which is amazing, but not everyone believes in that. But I'm just saying it was just awesome. So there's my tangent, Leah. All right. Sorry.
No, I got you. That's really amazing. When you said that, I was like, oh, wow. We were given information you had never heard before and were not expecting. And yet, what do you do with that? How do you move with that? Right. Like that's the experience when someone sends something like that or says something like that. But I think that's amazing that his story gets to be captured. And for other people that have that similar experience, now they won't feel alone. They won't feel like they're out there on a limb. There's somebody else with the story. That's awesome.
It was awesome. It happened in the 80s. It was all over the news. Well, now it is. And all these people, it's like, it's called the Manhattan Alien. What is it? Hold on. The Manhattan, I'm Googling it right now. The Manhattan Alien Abduction. This lady, Linda Napolitano, was, taken up. And then also my uncle and so many other people. So anyway, if you want to Google it, it's just fascinating. But that's that. So Leah, what did you have in mind for us today?
Yeah, no, well, that's so cool that it happened with you, with your family. For me, during my Thanksgiving time, I think I recognized that you kind of have to expect that there's going to be something different. Like every time you get your family together, people are changing, people are growing. And in my family, I'm the oldest of 4 siblings, and all of my younger siblings, they all have children. And watching their experience and their lives shift and change, I think one of the areas that is prevalent on my mind right now is, what if things are going to look different? What if the things that you've been experiencing or the things that you are accustomed to experiencing, what if things are going to look different? And how do you adjust to that transition? Or how do you prepare yourself in your mind, your heart, and just in the physical? What does it look like when you got babies running around you all Thanksgiving? And that's not what our experience has always looked like before. And so that's kind of where my mind is right now. Like, how do I prepare for different? And it's going to happen again, right? Christmas is coming up for those that celebrate that holiday. But even just in general, the holiday break, people are going to be with family and friends. And what if the experience looks different? And I'm kind of reflecting on that right now, and thinking about what that means for me, but also how I help some of the people I work with transition in that phase. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And by the way, I just want people to also remember it's the LeahNicoleWiggs.com. Is there another form of contact before we continue?
Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram. Again, it's the Leah Nicole Wiggs there. You can follow me on
Mm-hmm.
Facebook. And then, of course, if you want to call into my business, my number
Yep.
is 919-985-3019. So definitely reach me out there. Would love to talk with you, love to help you as you transition into whatever is next. Yeah.
Beautiful. All right. Well, where do we start? I mean, you do so much, and it's a big kingdom community of love and support, all working together.
Yeah.
What did you want to share about your programs?
Yeah, so right now I'm loving the Rise Up community because this community we meet with women on Tuesdays and Wednesday mornings at 5:30 a.m. Yes, I know that's really early, but it's a special space for women that are looking for something different and are willing to kind of disrupt their status quo in order to try something different in order to receive something different. And so I'm enjoying that space right now. I'm teaching on what does it look like to just be in God's presence, and how do you quiet your mind long enough? How do you remove the distractions long enough so that you can receive something new in that space with the Lord? And it's been beautiful. I call it the make room method, where you're using all five of your senses to allow God to speak with you. And I believe that if he created all things and if he created our five senses, these are the ways in which he communicates with us, to us. And so using his creation to talk with us through our senses, we sit in quiet, we may play music, we may just play rain sounds, but it literally is allowing us to quiet, go still for a moment, especially for all of the busy moms out there, taking about 5 minutes to just be. And so I'm enjoying that space right now, and helping women to just get quiet long enough to receive something different, and to be aware that there's another way that the Lord can speak to you. And so right now that's beautiful. I'm also really excited that I'm working with my team right now to prepare for retreats next year and trying to figure out where we're headed. I know that we're looking at going out of the country and do an international trip and really explore kind of what does it look like to learn something new in a new space. I think I'm always trying to keep my mind open to what could possibly be versus what always is, or what my knowledge bank actually is filled with. And so that's where I'm focused right now. What's on your plate? What do you have like for the rest of this year that you're like really excited about?
Well, I'm going to start with nervous about because I'm excited about. I love the holidays, right? But there's still
Yeah.
so much to do. And as a mom who's got to do all the shopping and all the decorating, I'm still backed up. I just finally put all my Halloween decorations away. So honestly, on my plate is a lot of bins going in the attic, decorations. I'm excited
Yeah.
about it, but I'm also stressed. Oh gosh, I have to do the Christmas cards. We did our family pictures, but the cards aren't done. Oh my goodness. So I think a lot of my excitement is also stress related, and I wish I knew how to manage that better, to be honest with you. But the time around the holidays is always magical, especially with children. So I just feel I'm grateful. I'm just so excited. The kids are off of school. It's just, I don't know. It's just this time of year makes, and I wonder, people who live in warmer communities, do they still have this feeling of Christmas? I'm just curious. How excited are they? Is that the Christmas
Right.
spirit? It's like, to be in Florida right now. I've never experienced, Christmas in Florida, but I feel like it's just an energy in the air during the month of December, no matter where you are. Excitement for new beginnings because you have the new year next. And then,
Yeah.
but it's also a time where people are, get depressed and miss their families. I'm just excited to look around at the houses and enjoy and look at all the Christmas lights and see and just appreciate I'm here another year and I could see all this. Honestly, I love the holidays. So I'm really excited just for the spirit of Christmas and
Yeah.
and seeing it in everyone's faces and eyes, and the breakfast with Santas that we did. We did two of them. We had a Christmas tree lighting last night in our local community, and seeing those types of things is just gets me all excited.
I
I
love it.
feel
I
so
love it.
happy. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, for me, I think, well, I was wondering when you said that, I was like, man, that's such a, you said nervousness, but yet, or anxiousness maybe a little bit, but also excitement, and how those two emotions can kind of feel similar at times, but also really can take over your mind if you go one way or the other. And so I encourage you, even as you're preparing for this, like lean into the excitement. And I
Hmm.
promise you, it doesn't always have to look like what it's been, right? I understand traditions, and I
Yeah.
love how beautiful those things can be for families, for children, and all the different things. But right now, that's really where my heart is, right? As we prepare for a new beginning, thinking about, does it have to look the same?
Yeah.
And if it doesn't look the same, am I still going to be okay? Are my children going to still be okay? Are my friends and family going to still be okay? And what I learned during Thanksgiving, and I think I'm trying to take into the rest of this holiday season, is it's going to look different, and that's going to be beautiful. And as I move into the different, or as I accept
Hmm.
that I do this differently, there are going to be new memories that get to come about, and I get to capture. And so
Oh,
I
so
definitely feel you.
exciting.
Yeah, I definitely feel you.
Congrats.
I'm
This is great.
This is beautiful to me. I'm excited for what all the rest of this month really has to hold. You were saying something about looking at all the lights and looking at all the people's faces. And for me, this is a season where I try to slow down as much as I can to be present in those types of ways, and like explore the neighborhood and be like, oh, that was a
Hmm.
cute decoration. I never considered like the blue Christmas tree this year, you know? So I feel you. It brings like tingly sensations throughout the rest of this month. And I'm excited to continue to explore that. So
Oh
I'm with
my,
you.
I love it. Thank you for sharing. And, listening to people, if you're listening today, what are you thankful for? What are you excited for? It's this time of year to really think about it and to also think about, well, what do I want? What do I maybe want to change? And then
Yeah.
people say, well, how do I do that? And they don't, a lot of people don't know how to change. And I know you help so many with that spiritually and personally through all your coaching programs. And I would love to
Yeah.
hear more about that as well.
Yeah, well, that's a very common question, like you said. And I think the one thing I've learned, and the advice that I always want to give is, one, take inventory. I really believe in the power of a pivot. And so I teach this acronym
Hmm.
pivot, because sometimes we just have to pause, and that's the P. And then I take inventory of, what is it that is actually still here? What is it that is around? Who do I have in my corner? And then V, reevaluate what your values are. What do you really anchor in on this is what I want. This is what I value, my family, thinking about our finances, making memories. Those things need to be anchored, right? And then you figure out what are going to be the things that are obstacles that are going to pop up, in or that will be in opposition of your value system. And once you have taken the moment to breathe, pause, once you've taken inventory of what is it that I am dealing with, what is it that I have around me, and do these things still apply to my value system? Now, if I know what I'm anchored in, what are the things that would come in opposition of that may need to be removed, what may need to be discarded, or may need to be reevaluated in some way? And then finally, now we can make a new turn. Now we can actually turn in a new direction. And so I think change really requires us to think about the pivot before the turn, like to think about
Yeah,
how and where we're going.
exactly.
Most of the time, people they just want something different. But in order to get to different, we first have to evaluate where we are. And so that's usually what I'm teaching. And I realize that that's more than just in the spiritual sense. That can just literally be in the physical sense. You want to, I don't know, change your makeup routine. Well, let's pause. Let's take inventory. What do we already have? What needs to go? What needs to be discarded? What do I want to, what does my makeup routine really need to be valued and anchored in? Do I want to have healthy, clean products? Do I want to make sure that I'm not constantly, that I'm cleaning my brushes? Is that something new? Because that's what I value in this system. And then what's going to oppose that? Okay, those early mornings when you don't have a lot of time on your hands, okay, maybe I need to lay out what makeup is going to be necessary for the next day. And then now let's practice this new routine. Let's turn in this new direction. And so I think it's holistic. It's not just in the spiritual world. It's in the physical world and just your world. And so I love the power of a pivot.
Oh, I love it. Beautiful. Power of the pivot. Well, we got to take a quick break here. It's the perfect time. Why don't you remind us how we can reach out to you?
Yeah, just dial 919-985-3019 or follow me on Instagram. You can back channel me, send me a direct message on Facebook. But again, that is theleahnicolewiggs.com.
Perfect. Thanks so much. All right, everyone, stay tuned. We'll be right back with more.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
My dad used to say that.
Sure, yeah. It's from Geico.
Yeah, whenever I would ask my dad for life advice, he'd sit me down and say, son, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more. And look at me now, a well-adjusted adult with a drawer full of plastic bags I'll never use.
Okay, I'm confused. Was your dad a licensed Geico agent?
Nah, he was just a real good dad.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Hey, do you want to know the secret to self-confidence, self-love, and self-awareness? Well, your thoughts, like everything in the universe, are energy. They vibrate at different frequencies depending on the nature of your thought. When you decide to change your level of consciousness, your outside circumstances will change drastically. I am Sandra Robinson, founder of BeyondFocus.org. As a personal development life coach with years of experience, I will help you explore how to refocus and realign your life with certainty. Remember, you are just one choice away from achieving your dreams.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the mytuner-radio, online radio box, and simpleradio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back to the show. We are so excited to be here with Leah Nicole, Wiggs. She's talking about her work as a personal development coach and all she does to really help you be empowered to grow. And of course, don't forget that relationship with Jesus Christ, the Almighty above. She's here helping people rise up to be what they want to be, break some cycles, right? And start transforming. So thank you so much for being back here. And let me just also share, if you are tuning in, just one example. There's plenty of positive, reviews. This one says, last year, our annual Black Student Leadership Summit, we invited Leah to be our keynote speaker as well as be our facilitator for 2 additional sessions. She did an outstanding job, phenomenal, seeking to train students, provide insight, and offer advice. She spoke to where students were, provided space for vulnerability, and remained authentic in her presentation. Also, you got someone saying that if you're looking for a speaker who will impact your event, challenge your attendees, and leave them empowered and encouraged, highly recommend Leah. Had the honor of having her lead the impact session for the Living My Blessed Life conference, and she delivered. We were all engaged, enlightened, and excited by her straightforwardness and genuine connection with each attendee. Beautiful stuff.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for reading those. It's so funny when you hear people read the comments out loud and you're thinking, oh man, I'm glad that that's what they took away. I know that I can be a disruptor, but I also am grateful that it's impactful and it's making an impact as I navigate forward. So thank you for reading those.
Oh, thank you so much. All right. What else do you want to share with us? This is exciting, and this is the perfect time of year to get that help and start transforming.
Yeah. So I think one of the things I am really, really passionate about in this season is, what does it mean to prepare for the next? And what does it mean to question whether the next needs to look the same? And so I am actually working with my business team right now. I love doing the Rise Up space. I love doing retreats. I love doing this podcast work, right? The Lord is opening opportunities even more in that capacity. But I'm also asking myself the question and spending time with the Lord saying, what if? Mm-hmm. What if there's a pivot? What if there's something different? And being quiet long enough to see if there's more, right? Or see if there's different and be open to that. And so one of the things I want to encourage people, and I'm talking about this in the Rise Up space. I have an opportunity to speak at a church later in this month as well. But really taking inventory and saying, what if there's more? What if there's different? And I think in this season where we have the opportunity to be around family and be around friends and really, like you were saying earlier, see the lights and see the excited faces of different people walking around. Could there be something more? Could there be something different? And really taking the moment to say, what if? Have you ever, Jill, I'm asking, yeah, have you ever had a moment where you were saying, this is what I was thinking I was going to do, but when you started making that move in that direction, you said, but what if I pivot? What if I do this differently? Has that ever happened for you?
Oh my gosh! Well, look! I was going to college. I thought I wanted to be a doctor, and here I am, signed up for pre-med studies at Stony Brook University. And then after a year and a half, I got a job part time to pay the bills, and I was working at a radio station. I'm like, wait, I like talking. I want to be a doctor, but I also like this whole communication thing and TV and radio. So I totally pivoted, switched majors. And, here we are this many years later. And I do have regrets because I'm like, okay, what if I would have done, been a doctor? I wish I could. But, it's the path I chose and I did change. And I'm happy I did. I had a great experience, But we still wonder what's, the grass green on the other side. But yeah.
I think that's amazing. First of all, I didn't know that about your background. Both of us have that similar story.
Yeah.
I wanted to be an OBGYN, biology and chemistry major. And that happened. I shifted in my last year because of what you just said. I love talking with people and I wanted to make a difference in a different way. And I was like, what if I change it now? Scary, as I'm sure you experienced at that time as well. Like, I'm excited to do this, but what if I'm missing out on what I originally set out to do? So I definitely relate to the regret idea, but I also can imagine, like you've enjoyed the journey and all the pieces that came along with it, and all the things that it opened doors to. That first radio station, what domino effect that led to you now being in the places that you are now. I think that's the beauty, and yet the scariness of saying, "Oh, what if I pivot here? What if I turn left? What if I jump over instead of swing under, and see what comes along with that change." I think so often change can be anxiety producing or provoking, but it also can be, like you said earlier, exciting and invigorating in some ways. And so my encouragement to people, I think, is be willing to do something different. Be willing to try it, because you never know what's going to be on the other side, and you never know what you're missing. But ask yourself, what if I do something different this year? And as we enter into 2025, there are going to be a lot of things that come up that are going to be different in 2025, right? In our world, in America, but that doesn't have to be on the outside. It also can be on the inside. And so I think that's the beauty of being a believer, is that there's something that can shift, that can change, and it can change you for the better. But we got to be willing to ask, kind of, what if?
So true. Oh my goodness. Beautiful. We still have just 4 minutes left, 3.5 minutes left. I'm so sorry. So just want to make sure we're covering everything that's important to you today. And, by you tapping into, this audience here and inspiring people, any words of advice during the holiday to get through for some of us that maybe it's a little bit more difficult at the moment?
Yeah, I think it's okay. The biggest thing I would say for those that are experiencing maybe grief in the season because you're missing some loved ones, or you're in a season where it just doesn't look the same because of it not being the way it used to be. I think it's okay to acknowledge, not even I think, it's okay to acknowledge and acknowledge the change and be in the feeling, like feel the feeling. Yeah. I always tell my
feel the feeling. Yes.
Yeah, be present in that, but also then choose what you're going to do. Choose your behavior, right? So twofold: feel the feeling, but then choose how you're going to move, because both are good. Both are being present, being accepting of what is, but also choosing what could be, and so, or what will be. And so that is my encouragement in this season when we get around family and friends, and it may not look like or feel like what we once had or once experienced. It's okay to be present in that emotion. Don't hide from it. Don't run from it. be okay that that's the reality of where you are, but also have in the back of your mind, after feeling the feeling, you have the ability to move. And so you get to choose, you get to make a decision. And what decision you make really ultimately is the rest of the story, And so I think, I hope that that's encouraging to be present and know that that's okay, but also choose how you want the rest of it to be.
Absolutely. Well, we'll leave it on that. Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
We want to reach out to you. Would you mind sharing how we contact you, please?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, hit me up on my website at theleahnicolewiggs.com. You can also reach out to me on all social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook. Find me at the Leah Nicole Wiggs. My number is 919-985-3019. Y'all, God bless you. And I hope that you have a great holiday season, however you choose to celebrate it.
Thank you so much. Same to you. Thank you. Are we back on again before the holidays, or is this it?
I think that we have one more next week.
Okay, good.
Possibly. Yeah.
All
Possibly.
right.
I think it's next week.
Well,
I'll see
looking
you
forward to it, Leah. Thank you again for your time, and always a blessing to have you here. And really, thank you for doing what you do.
Thank you, Jill. Have a great one.
You too. Bye-bye.
Redefine your life with Lee and Wiggs, owner of LWE LLC. Lee empowers you to embrace your true purpose through sonship and self-empowerment, so you can live unchained and purposeful. Call 919-985-3019 or visit theleahnicolewiggs.com.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. I came out in the 11th grade. Nobody was embracing you. The kids were cruel. It was very difficult to be gay. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
The hard part was determining that I was going to do it, but I definitely didn't do it alone.
At age 30, with the help of her mentor, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
I have a mentor, Maria. She convinced me to continue my education
and to finish what I started to get my diploma.
Just never judges. She's a true role model. If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, go get it. You can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.